Can I say I'm the man? Am I losing my mind? Am I wasting my time? Do I know who I am? I don't know who I am. Can I say I'm the man? I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know who I am.
So confused in this life full of mystery. Guess I'm glad it ain't a life full of misery. I wanna dance, I wanna fly, I wanna let it free. But that's a different side of people they don't wanna see. I've been caught up in my mind sometimes, so I'll rap just to feel alright. And when the rhyming did good, that's when I just understood it was by design. And when I feel this way, I just walk and talk to appear this way, baby. I don't know what to say, baby. I don't know what I am, baby. That's just how I play, baby. Yeah.
I don't know who I am. Can I say I'm the man? Am I losing my mind? Am I wasting my time? Do I know who I am?
Powered by Riverside FM.
What up, UP Nation? This is your host, Lionel Jones, along with the guru of Minnesota sports, Patrick Buchanan. Pat, we got him, man. We got him. Stephon Gilmore is in the house wearing purple. We've been waiting for this.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for this. And before people talk about Stephon Gilmore is not the defensive player of the year that he was in 2019, I don't care. He is the best outside corner that we have on the team. But before we get into that, Pat, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Just
I see that smile on your face. What you smiling about?
I'm just smiling just because, everything's coming to and, is getting around the corner and, just certain things are finding its way, right? Everything's coming together smoothly, right? Since the last podcast we've been on together, been some good things that happen, and obviously good things, right? Kwesi doing his thing, man. Yeah, man, we got one more preseason, got to make some cuts, then let them get, they couple of weeks to prepare for the Giants, and let's go over there to the Meadowlands and let's go play the Giants, right?
Yeah, well, before we get into that and before we get into Stephon Gilmore being a Minnesota Viking, I would be remiss if I wouldn't thank UP Nation out there, man. We just hit a milestone, 15,000 subscribers within the last 24 hours, myself and Patrick. We are so grateful that first of all, we get a chance to do what we love, talk sports, and that there's enough people out there that want to take the time to listen to us. It's just a blessing for us, and keep hitting that like and subscribe button. Tell your friends, share, let people know about Unconventional Playbook. But we're living a dream right now, and it's because of you guys. Anything you want to say, Pat?
No, I appreciate the support, the fans, the listeners, the viewers, the subscribers, all that, right? That's coming out, right? We hopefully we believe we are, but you'll let us know if we ain't giving you the right content. So we're trying to give you the content and bring it to you from our perspective, our viewpoint. And I know, we just going to keep out there doing what we can do for you, but doing what we love, number one. Because if we weren't doing that, then we couldn't give it to you like we are.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, let's hit Stephon Gilmore. He was here, close to a week and a half ago, whatever it was, and then he left town, and everybody was kind of, wondering what happened. KOC talked about the visit was positive, and he used the words, Pat. He said, we just wanted to show him what our culture was. And once he put an emphasis on that, I said, well, man, he had to like it, because being an outsider looking into the Vikings culture, it's something that I think a lot of players will want to be around. We just got the news early this morning that Stephon Gilmore signed a $10 million contract, $7 million guaranteed with some incentives in there. But he makes that cornerback room a lot stronger. He's a veteran that has been there, played with some good teams. Defensive Player of the Year, I believe, in 2019. He's not that anymore, but he still has a lot of gas left in the tank. How do you think he bolsters our defense, Pat?
He Bosa did fantastic. He was on the top 5 defense last year, right, within the Dallas Cowboys. I think he was like their rating system that they go for cornerbacks. He was one of the top 15 last year for cornerbacks. So he's still able to perform at a high level, right? And you come in this scheme, right? I heard somebody say something over it when they were talking about going up against the Cleveland Browns, and it was like, oh, it was good to go up in them a little bit more because we've been doing a lot of zoning and stuff. And we all know that B-Flow wants to go some more man-on-man, right? And this helps
Yeah.
with man-on-man coverage, whether he's using safeties more or whatever. But now you got a Griffith and a Gilmore that you can really put out there, or Murphy, and throw whoever at the nickel, whatever. We still got all the safeties back there. This is just, outside of that, a veteran, right? A veteran who's been in winning systems, and has his accolades, right? He's one of the better cornerbacks for his time and generation to play it and play it at a high level. And that's just another addition for us, right?
Yeah.
It shakes up some things, though, right? It shook it up, like it's like they're rolling dice out there, right? It shook up some things in that backfield, and we'll talk a little bit more on that. But I think it's a great addition, right? He came in, he came in last week Monday, Coach. So this is day 7 today, and to be able to get that done within the 7-day, for him to go and ponder and think about it. But for Kwesi to get the job done, fantastic. Bringing that type of talent into what already is a good defense that I feel.
Yeah, Kwesi is cooking. That's a great point for Kwesi to be able to get another deal done. That really helps the Minnesota Vikings. But, in this sense, it was a team effort just from the coaching and the administration standpoint. KOC and the cultures that he's built. Kwesi being able to get the deal done. But I heard Stephon Gilmore made these comments. He said he was really impressed by the culture of the Minnesota Vikings, but yet he was intrigued by the defensive scheme. So this shows you the value of B-Flow, because maybe if B-Flow's not here, maybe we don't even get that deal done. But he said he used the word intrigued by the scheme and the philosophy of the defense. How big is it, man, to have a guy like B-Flow on our coaching staff?
Coach is super, like, and this is both of them, but for B-Flow right now within his second year, he has great relationships with everybody. Anybody who ever meets the man is going to love the man. You're going to fall in love. His players love him, right? He loves that, he wants them, here it is, but make it your own, right? And he allows them to play without thinking, so they're going to be out there more free, and free flowing and playing out there. So that's a compliment to B-Flow, right? And that's a defense that we might need more often than we did last year, especially with the quarterback, right? But that goes to Kwesi, right? For Kwesi to find this type of guy, Kwesi to find KOC, Kwesi to find B-Flow, right? To find these sort of coaches to have in this organization, they fit in the character sense, number one, right? And so then you got the way that they communicate together, B-Flow and KOC, and they really use each other to help both sides of the ball out, right? And they both, just the interaction on both sides of the ball. And I think that goes to all 3 phases of the game because you're using players from both sides of the ball. So it's a fantastic marriage. Like, I'm super excited to get out of the vanilla, defense, and to really just let that blossom, right? Because there are so many, like, we always talk about the depth that we're adding, right? And if you go into the preseason game, right, there's depth that's adding. And, hey, Coach, I just quick, I know I'm jumping from Gilmore, but jumping to it, but to let the coordinators, your linebackers coach and your D-backs coach call the game, and your offensive coordinator to call the game, like, that's just building up the experience. Like, to allow that to happen, whenever B-Flow gets the heck out of here, you're gaining experience for another coach who understands the scheme, keeps the scheme, and takes over, right? So Listen, it's all hats off to B-Flow because we're gonna lean on that defense some, coach, a lot. Not even some. We're gonna lean on that defense a lot this year.
Yeah, don't ever mention B-Flow leaving because we're not going to let B-Flow leave. He's going to be a Viking for the duration of his career. I don't care how much money the Wills have to pay him. I want B-Flow in the fold. But I think you're right with that. You know, this organization is, when you look at the Zimmer years, and I'm not one of these guys that bashes Zimmer. I think Zimmer did a lot of good things when he was here. I mean, there were multiple years where he had the number 1 ranked defense in the league. So Zimmer can coach his ass off. I know it probably didn't end as well as people would like, but I'm a Zimmer guy. But this organization now under KOC seems to be more forward thinking. Like you said, great point you just brought up. Some of the coordinators and position coaches were calling plays. And I think that's really forward thinking because, number one, you're right. You know, it gets people used to doing that job. You know, at some point in their future, they're probably going to have an opportunity to do that. But you never can tell, especially with the Minnesota Vikings, what's going to happen from week to week. You know, there may be a time where Kevin O'Connell, you know, God forbid that he has to miss a game, or you just never know what's going to happen where people are going to have to start filling in. So, you know, this is who Kwesi and KOC are. They are forward thinkers. And this was just another proof positive of some of the things that they're experimenting with during the preseason, which I think is really, really smart. I think the acquisition of Stephon Gilmore is huge, because now I think you're going to have a guy like Shaq Griffin that's going to be on the outside as well. And now Byron Murphy, who I think is more of a slot type DB, can go inside and play the slot. If you look at the landscape of the NFL, there's a lot of nickel-based concepts out there where when you and I were coming up, it was all about the 4-3. And
Right.
So things have really morphed a bit. Do you think, you know, in terms of talent, we know that Stephon Gilmore really helps being a veteran in the room and just being a talent on the film. But now some of the things that B-Flow is going to be able to do with his defense, that makes our defense considerably better, right?
Oh, 100% makes it different. Like, he's exotic, right? Harry the Hitman was talking during the third quarter, right? And, you know, everybody always wants to describe this defense as exotic, right? It's super exotic defense. So you got to get a guy like Gilmore on the outside. You got the safeties that we have, right? Which is the trio of safeties, 1, 2, and 3. And we'll talk about that in a minute if we're going to add another one in there. Somebody growing up on us, right? Well, we got Theo Johnson in that too. So it's 4 that's really good right there already. And so you trust that over the top if you're Gilmore, right? Within the scheme, bringing, you know, the different stunts and blitzes that he brings and how he brings them, and guys jumping out, right? You can see Gilmore getting in there, right, in the backfield while somebody coming out to cover. So I once again, like he said, it was, you know, he was intrigued by B-Flow's defense, right? And I mean, trust me, that locker room, like, what you think about that now, right? So you think about, you know, Griffith, that Shaq, Griffith, Gilmore, Harry the Hitman, vet. You know, you got Cashman, who's been doing it, even though Ivan Pace is there, but Van Grinkle and Cashman and JG and Harrison and Phillips up front. So when you got, like, you're talking about every single level, that's right. And I'm not talking about, like, Harry the Hitman show. I thought Harry the Hitman should have been a Pro Bowler last year, right?
Yep, I agree with that 100%.
He was playing like he was in his 20s again, right? So you add a person like Gilmore in this scheme, right? He's going to allow them to do what they do best, and it just helps for this division that we in. We're in the NFC North. We got wide receivers all over the place. Green Bay got 4 of them. Chicago got 3 of them in a tight end, right? If you know, they got 2 Pro Bowlers over there that he should have been. Amon St. Brown, I don't know how they robbed him for that. But, you know, him and Laporta, and then Jameson Williams, I think he's going to do fantastic this year. And those backs coming out the backfield, like, we can keep going on and on about everyone's offense in this division, right? So what we're doing is we're trying to defend, right? The first and foremost is defend the North. We got to go back and get that title, right? We got to go back and get the NFC North title, and then we can keep going to the next level of winning playoffs and then hit to the Super Bowl. Gilmore, this was something interesting that I heard too. Gilmore after his visit, coach. And this is where I thought, damn, maybe not. After J.J. McCarthy went down, right, we found out about the surgery. And they said Gilmore is at a place right now where he wants to play for a team that he feels he has an opportunity to get a Super Bowl, right?
I was worried about that, Pat. When I heard that,
Yeah.
you know, because I don't think anybody's picking the Vikings for the Super Bowl. You're right. I heard that, and that made me pause a bit. I'm like, okay, do we really have a chance to get this guy?
Right. That made me cringe, and then that's when JJ went down, and I'm like, but then that's when I was like, pump up, you know, Sam Darnold, and for him to come back and do it, there's something like, okay, culture, right, and coaching, right, culture and coaching. Well, hell, that'll sell me too, you know, and if that's what it was, like those things, you and I both know, you and I have both been into high games, whether that's in your tournament right now to get to the big dance, right, at college or both in high school, being able to get to the dance. Like that culture, if you have a crappy culture, you can't get there. I've never seen a crappy culture get to where they are. There have been teams that may be more talented, but trash cultures that just don't get there. And sometimes the culture can outweigh the talent if it's just by, you know, that hair or whatever. And I just think he came to a place where he felt that was value for him as his time in his career right now, right? You want to go to a place like you're leaving out of Dallas, that's crappy, right? They could have re-signed you probably, or maybe not, I don't know, but that's a crappy environment. But who else needed you that was in the position to get you that has a great culture? So there it is right there. It's a great grab for us. And I think it's both ways. It's a great grab for him, right?
Culture and scheme, man. Culture and scheme. I thought about you during the Browns broadcast, and they had Harry the Hitman. You just mentioned it. They had Harry the Hitman mic'd up during the third quarter of the game, and they talked about him coming back for this year. And one of the main reasons, and I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember exactly what he said specifically, but basically he said, you know, he wanted to come back because he loves playing in B-Flow's defense. And I remember you and I had a telephone conversation, B-Flow's first year. You had an opportunity to go to the Minnesota Vikings practice and talk to Harrison Smith, and you said Harrison Smith gushed over the defense. And I was hearing that from a lot of different people, from different players. And sometimes, man, it's about fit. If you look at the Minnesota Vikings defense, and you're 100% right. Everybody's looking at what the offensive teams can do in our division, and we're building a bully on the defensive end. When you look at who we have, are there more talented defenses out there than us in terms of personnel? Yes, of course they are. But right now, you're getting guys in here that's about fit. And sometimes, Pat, fit is way more important than talent. I'll give you a perfect example. For those of you that watch college basketball, and I live in the state of Wisconsin, and everybody here, you know, is big Badger fans. And so one of the best coaches, or somebody that I thought was a really good coach, was Bo Ryan. He's now retired, used to coach the men's basketball team for the Badgers. And he had them in the NCAA tournament pretty much every year in the latter part of his career. He even got them to the national championship game one time. And the one thing that always amazed me about Bo Ryan is he's not getting blue chippers to come to Madison. Like he doesn't have any blue chippers coming to play for the Badgers, but what he used to do was reach off into programs, high school programs, and find guys that can run that swing, and find guys that can play that gap defense, and it was all about fit. I look at what B-Flow and Kwesi and those guys are doing. Right now, they're a little limited in the last 2 years with salary cap stuff. Hell, you had Kirk Cousins sucking up all the money, so you really couldn't get a whole lot of defensive guys in. But looking at what they've done this year, they've got a bunch of Swiss Army knife guys, hybrids, guys that can play safety and corner. And the Vikings are building the bully, man. And I'm telling you right now, Pat, I got a feeling that the Vikings defense may carry the load this year, and they're for sure going to be top 10 in the NFL. I don't know where you think their defense is going to rank, man, but I'm looking at top 10 for sure. If they are not top 10, I will be shocked defensively.
Yeah, I believe that they are going to be a top 10 defense, right? The jump they made, right, and learning it, but like I think I talked about it, probably a month or so ago, right, is the youth that they brought in and then the veterans that they brought in, all the different new faces like JG, Van Ginkel, Cashman, DT, Dallas Turner, but then bringing in Shaq and now bringing in Gilmore, right? And all it is doing out there is raising the level of play for everyone else, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to make this roster, your level of play just went to another level of what they're doing. They were talking about, like, at the Cleveland Browns practice, the defense has been dominating, right? Both teams, right? Defense has been dominating. But now that Van Ginkel's healthy, you're really starting to see how it all meshes together and how they're intertwined in and out, right? So, like you said, Gilmore's just another addition to this, right? I can't wait to see it out there, Coach. I cannot wait to see it out there. But I'm curious of there were some good things. The coach just this man Lewis Cine, Coach, right?
Let's talk about the game. Yeah, let's talk about the game.
Let's talk about the game. So the number one in the game, I thought they have been talking about the defense. And you look at it, you look at number twos, that's depth. When you talk about number twos, that's depth. So their number twos versus our number twos, their number threes versus our number threes. In the trenches, we dominated.
Yep.
Right? And that's both sides of the field. We dominated in the trenches. That was phenomenal to see, right? If you think we're dominating there with that group that was out there was dominant, then what do you think the group is, the first unit? What are they going to look like? So I just thought, like, that was the main thing that, popped out to me was the dominance in the trenches. And the way Lewis Cine and Bo Richter play, right? I love watching Lewis Cine and Bo Richter out there, man. Both of them. Everybody's out there doing good, but those two guys, like Lewis Cine, finally looks like he looked good out there. He played all damn game too, Coach. They gave this man an opportunity.
Hey, he's got to, Pat. He's got to do that. I mean, he's on his last leg. It's either perform or get shipped out.
Yeah, it felt like he was like there. It was like something clicked inside and said, "Just be yourself and be free." You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. Before he broke that leg, right, in London, right, he wasn't looking bad, right. But the mental part of coming back from that, and then obviously learning a new scheme. So, listen, man, it was fantastic to watch. I just wanted to start. You can get back to me, but. Tell me about your early impressions from the game as well.
Well, I'm always intrigued by just the little stuff because, like you said, I've heard this term thrown around a lot during preseason. Everything's vanilla. Everything's vanilla on the offensive end, everything on the defensive end. But I watched certain things. I looked at the trenches like you're talking about. And the one thing that really stood out to me, because I just went back and watched the film and I was like, man, am I seeing what I'm seeing? Like, the down linemen, like so many different defensive sets where guys were just lining up, Pat, in different positions. And like you said, the twos and the threes provide a lot of depth. But I'm thinking, man, once we get our guys out there like Van Ginkel and Dallas Turner and all these guys, and they're moving around to different spots. I mean, B-Flow has named some of his packages NASCAR, where that whole front line is going to be nothing but pass rushers. I mean, he's like, to me, B-Flow is a mad scientist. And even though things are really vanilla out there right now, you can kind of see what's coming. Now, he's been playing with a lot of positioning. That's the one thing that he hasn't really held back on. Like, they're not blitzing and stunting and doing any of that stuff, but you can kind of see he wants to get guys lined up where he thinks he's going to use them.
Yep.
And I'm just really intrigued by the defense, Pat. I just think our defense is going to be really, really good. Lewis Cine, I was proud of the young man because I think he was on the outside looking in terms of the 53-man roster. That still may be the case. Like, this could have been a game because he played so much where they're just trying to get film on him. So maybe now he becomes an asset. They can trade him. I don't know that for sure, but that's on the table. But for that young man to come out there and arguably play one of the best games that he's ever played in purple, I was really proud on him because I know he had to be down on himself. He's come back a long way from that leg injury that he had in London. And he was a good player in college, man. He was the MVP in college of the national championship game. So the kid can play. I was just really proud watching that game on Saturday that he showed up and played.
Oh yeah, I'm happy for him, and I hope it continues the confidence or whatever it is internally continues to grow so that he can physically perform, whether that's here or somewhere else, right? I'm like, I hope Kwesi's saying, well, shit, he playing like that. Hey, man, this is my first ever pick. Let's just give him some more chances,
Yep.
You just don't want that pick to fail. But then
he's got a guaranteed contract, Pat, so they could keep him for another year and see what he does. But again, that safety room, that D-back room is getting pretty full, man. It's going to be some tough decisions.
It is getting pretty full, but you got to think about it, right? Harry the Hitman is going to be out of here. I know they might be molding Theo Johnson back there a little bit, right? We're going to have to play, but at some point, Cam Bynum and Martellis's contracts are going to come, and you don't want to get into that. So keeping it that's going to be interesting. How many safeties and corners they keep, Coach? Right? That's like, how many safeties and corners are they going to keep? Right? You go through it. I mean, special teams, you keep some just because of the new kickoff rules, like speed. How many safeties and corners are they going to keep combined? Because he throws 5 of them out there on the field. So is he going to keep 6? But then you going to keep 5 cornerbacks? How many? D-backs you going to keep 11?
How many safeties is he going to keep, Pat? How many undrafted free agents could possibly make this team?
Listen, there's another, you got McGloodon. Is that his name? I mean, now you're talking about another defensive back right there. You talk about McGloodon and, oh my goodness.
McGlothern. He the white McGlothern, Coach, he's going to make this team, Pat.
Yeah.
He's going to make this team.
They are doing a fantastic job on undrafted free agents. I'm like, where's you finding these at, right? You don't supposed to find undrafted free agents like this, though. You're not supposed to. But maybe it's a trend, right? Because Julius, like as we said, Randall was one, right? And he was a Pro Bowler. And look at Ivan Pace right now and McGloodon right now. And so, yeah, the things are going fantastically for him. I want to flip to the other side of the ball, the offense. And, it's good to see Mullins out there, right? Mullins is who we know Mullins is, right? He's a backup quarterback, dependable, right? He's he is what he is. But I think that's one of Jaron Hall's best games that I seen him play, right?
Agreed.
He looked pretty comfortable or whatever. I don't know what happened since J.J. McCarthy went down. It's like nerves just went out of people and people felt more comfortable. Like, we got one more year.
Yeah.
So they looked good out there. The offense, there were some drop balls there. I'll tell you one thing. The coach was making the play call. I was like, man, here's the one thing. Nick Mullins cannot bootleg back to the right? He cannot bootleg and come. I'm like, dude, your arm strength can't get it to people, right? Or you can't make the right decision. So his bootleg going back right is just, that's the only knock on him that I had, was his bootleg in the pocket. He stood in there. He took some. He stepped up when he had to. But when you get him out on the perimeter, he just didn't look that great.
Yeah. I've always said this about coaching. And it's the truest thing ever, man. And I think, when you're coaching in high school and stuff like that, you have probably more parent issues than you have at the college level. But sometimes you have players that don't like competition, or you have players that will quit, once you make a move to another player. And sometimes, man, when things get taken away from you, or someone gets brought into the fold that's going to create competition, you play better. Now, the Vikings just signed Corral as their quarterback, guy that played in the UFL, and a guy that has some stops, the Carolina Panthers and the Patriots. What do you think Jaren Hall's thinking when the Vikings bring that guy in? So I think there's a direct correlation to get on your stuff and to focus a little bit more. I'm not surprised that Jaren Hall played well, because Jaren Hall probably wants to stick around and be the third guy on this team, or at least a backup if they trade Mullins. He's got a great opportunity here. And so he sees this kid come in. He's like, okay, I got to start balling. Same with Lewis Cine. Lewis Cine may lose something. If he doesn't make the Vikings 53-man roster, it's like, who knows what's going to happen to his career. It's the one mistake that I think the Minnesota Vikings made with Kirk Cousins. They never put behind him a backup quarterback that could threaten his job.
Yeah.
So Kirk Cousins could go out there and play any type of way he wanted, and I think competition is good. I'm going to give you another name, Pat, on the offensive side of the ball, of a guy who's balling out, Tristan Jackson.
Man, there it is.
He is balling out. I know they got Naylor probably penciled in as the third wide receiver. You got Powell in there as well. But Tristan Jackson, he's balling out, Pat.
Hey, man, you go 4 wide receiver sets with that all day long. Like, here's the thing. I'm staying away from the tight end stats probably more until we get TJ Hawkinson back. So now we can go the 4 wide receiver sets more, right? More of a 11 personnel or whatever you want to go.
Yeah.
And just go with it that that way, instead of more of a 12 or whatever personnel you want to. So he is Tristan Jackson, catch the ball. Ain't got hands, right? Right. Speedy over there doing this thing, but Tristan Jackson can catch the ball. Right. And if you can put that out, and Sam Darnold can pick apart people, right? And day 2, I'm happy he bounced back day 2 over there and was picking them apart, and was so much better in the joint practice from day 1 to day 2 with them. But Tristan Jackson, like, my question is, Coach, how many wide receivers they gonna keep, right? Like, so you got Tristan Jackson, who's probably moved up, is fighting at the 3 now. But then you got Powell at the 5, right? He's your number 5, right?
Yeah.
Harry, who just transitioned to tight end, could be your 6 and your tight end, so you don't really have to keep 6. You can keep 5, and you still got Harry over there. So how many wide receivers they going to keep? What I tell you is, they got wheels. The wide receivers can run routes, and they got a fantastic person to follow, right? You got 2 people who are pretty damn good, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, Jets and J.A. you can follow, right? They both are fantastic at running routes, right? And obviously TJ Hawkinson too. So if you get these guys in there, like if I'm one of these guys, like KJ Osborne in this offense in 2 years caught the ball. Like, he caught the ball. So I'm trying to get in there and catch the ball. All I got to do is stay healthy and speedy. And Tristan, oh my goodness, Tristan might take that from Naylor, right? Naylor better not drop no balls, but he's speedy though. He's speedy, right? Speedy can go.
And here's the one thing that we got to think about, Pat, that we've never had to think about in any other year, and I think it's going to affect who they keep, how many they keep, and how they keep them. That new kickoff rule, man. The new kickoff rule is going to mess with the personnel, because you're not going to put back there one of your wide receivers or running backs that you're going to use a lot. I mean, you're going to have to find a specialist. And I think a lot of teams are going to go the specialist route of people that can return with that new formation. Guys are a little bit closer. They're not coming in. It's essentially a running play now where teams haven't shown it during the preseason, but there's actually going to be different things that they're going to do to get people open. And I think people like Powell, Naylor, those guys are going to be at a premium because they can fill holes and they've got the speed and they can take off. Nyangu, he's going to be he had a good game, man.
Hey, I was just about to talk about him, Coach. Like, listen, that is the kid. When he was a rookie, he was looking fantastic. He dealt with some injuries, whatever. But when he was a rookie, I was like, holy crap. Like, I felt like he could be the backup because he has explosion. He has shiftiness. He has pretty good vision. What I like, he hits the edges hard, right? He's not going to dance around at the edge. He's going to hit that edge hard. You know what? I think he's going to get a lot of time, special teams on the field, but I think he's going to get some time on the field too. Early on, especially if we're having some success where he can spell Ty and Aaron Jones, because you want Aaron Jones at top notch come playoffs, right? So I think he's going to listen. He's been impressive for 2 games now, right? And he was impressive to me years ago when he was healthy. So that kid is woo-wee. Man, can he run the ball, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Credit to the Vikings, man. When you play these preseason games, I feel like these preseason games, you just said it a few minutes ago, it's all about depth. And when you can see the talent on a team like the Minnesota Vikings have, undrafted free agents, third stringers, second stringers out there balling out, Kwesi and the boys have done a fantastic job. Paul Allen brought it up on the broadcast, and I thought it was really telling when Paul Allen said, who was the undrafted free agent last year? The name is zoning me.
Ivan Pace.
Ivan Pace. Sorry about that. Ivan Pace. Ivan Pace is on the sidelines, Pat, as an undrafted free agent last year, eating sunflower seeds with no pads on because he's done his job. That's an undrafted free agent just last year, guy who had the green dot. So the player development on this team is absolutely fantastic for the Minnesota Vikings. They should be really, really proud of that.
Yeah, they should be proud of it. But part of it that I think they switched this year, where they're getting a lot more reps of 1s versus 2s, right?
Yeah.
1s versus 2s, 2s versus 1s. Like, then that means 2s versus 3s, 3. You can only get better that way. So many times people go 1s versus 1s. But a lot, and that was part of J.J. McCarthy's development, but I think they saw something in it. Right now, you have to be better if you're a 2 going against 1. You can't do nothing but get better. Am I right, Coach? Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're absolutely right. So as a 1, you're probably kicking their tail, but you're making them better. And that's just the growing the depth of it. Man, everything is looking promising out there. I'm going to stop knocking on wood because I knocked on some wood and now we ain't got J.J. McCarthy no more. So I ain't going to knock on wood about nothing else. I'm going to put it in my prayers and let them stay healthy. To be able to lose a Kyrie Jackson and a Blackman and to be able to get a Gilmore and a McCain in there and Fabian, you went and got some pieces in there. To be able to go get, Musk and what's the other tight end name?
Muse.
Muse, and who else did we get? We got Muse and someone else, right? To just fill in gaps and hole. We didn't have a run game last year, so you go get an Aaron Jones, right? Now you got
Runyon is hurt, who we got from the Packers. He's hurt.
Okay, so Runyon's hurt, but to just everything that they're doing out there, just getting all the right pieces, and it just makes us excited, right? It's just we're excited. We're excited. Continue to doing what you're doing because there's a lot of things to look forward to. But from now until the first game, there's a lot of things that they got to continuously to grow at. But there's just been so many things to make this organization inside that locker room better, and you're seeing things out on the field. Coach, I could tell you one more thing that's changing the culture in it too.
What's that?
What's our preseason record?
Oh, it's 2-0. It's 2-0.
Like
they were just saying a few days ago that KOC couldn't win preseason game.
Like it's How many years does it take to build a program?
Yeah.
3 to 5 years.
Yep.
This is year
Yep.
3. This is year 3. And luckily, like everyone talks about it, that Sam Darnold right now is the biggest blessing in disguise, right, for us. To be able to go get that type of arm talent that he is, and now with his growth of whatever he have, because J.J. McCarthy went down, like that is one of the biggest things ever. That, like, if we were stuck with Jaron Hall right now, I'd be like, man, I ain't even turning the TV on. And that's nothing against Jaron Hall, but that's not a starter caliber of a player, right? And right now we're about to see what we got right now. Aaron Donald has to be feeling good. Justin Jefferson was talking about it. They're just continuing to grow with each other, and they're loving. Like you said, he says he throws it out to me deep, and it's just like a pillow. When he said it hits me like a pillow in my hands, right? That means he's got some beautiful touch on the ball, right? No one's ever. Now he's got the coaching. Come on, man. We're gonna support.
Yeah, listen, man. I'm in the minority in this. Don't jump all over me for this. I know some of you peers out there is going to jump all over me for it, people that follow the Minnesota Vikings. I'm in the minority in this. I think Sam Darnold should be playing a little bit, man. I think Sam needs reps. I'm telling you right now, looking at our schedule, it is crucial that we beat the New York Giants.
Yeah,
that is if there was ever
he throwing pick sixes over there.
I know if there was ever a must-win first game of the season, it's that game versus the New York Giants. I don't want to hear anything about rust and Sam Darnold being rusty. He hasn't played a few games. I don't buy into the joint practice thing, because guys aren't out there trying to tear your head off and getting hit. I know there's some value in that, but I think Sam Darnold, because he didn't play last year, he's getting acclimated to a new system. I think he should be out there in these preseason games, even if it's just for a series or two. You don't have to play him a whole quarter or a whole half, but I just think, man, that there's some value in that. There's some value in that. And
I agree with you, Coach, and I think he would have went out there had J.J. McCarthy not got injured, right? Yeah. And I think it just puts you in more of a place. But Patrick Mahomes he done played two preseason games, man.
That's what I'm telling you, man.
It's some guys are getting out there and some aren't. They're bubble wrapping some of them, and we'll see. But the one thing that I can say is that he could start off slow in the first quarter versus the Giants, and I'm telling you right now, Coach, as he warms up through the game, I think he'll be fine, but he could start off slow against the Giants because our defense is going to dominate the Giants and Daniel Jones. I'm going to just tell you that right now. Our defense is going to
Daniel
dominate.
Jones coming off that ACL injury, I think he's going to have a hard time with B-Flow. But again, Pat, I don't want any more close games. You know how KOC is with these close games, and I don't want to put that much pressure on the defense. Sam Darnold has got to be ready to go. The Vikings have to win that game, because after that game, they've got a gauntlet until after the Detroit Lions game, after the bye. So this is we got to get that win. We got to get that win, man.
Yeah, we got to get that win. It's a 1-point spread right now. That spread going to end up changing, Coach, right? It's a horrible spread on the game. It's 1 point. The Giants are favored by 1 point.
Hey, save that for Patrick's picks. We gonna get Patrick's picks here. So save all the betting detail for.
I am, but I just that's I mean we're there. I'm with you though. I would have loved it if he would have got out there week 1, right? And KOC has always bubble wrapped him. And Kurt, not saying he's not Kirk Cousins, but Kurt has still performed when he came out and not played in the preseason games under him twice. So,
right.
But he's not Kirk Cousins once again, and he hasn't played. He played in a couple of games last year. I know it. I know you ain't buying the joint practices, but it's something. We won't be the only ones. We'll be okay. The one quarter, all it's going to take is a quarter or a half, Coach, and we good. That'd be good.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my
you mentioned.
I'm saying it right now. It's going to be one quarter or one half, and then you're going to see it. Do not get frustrated right away. Enjoy what the defense is going to do. But also, this is why I think he may not need to go out there, Coach. You got one of the top 10 offensive linemen out there. You got Aaron Jones. You got Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
You ain't you got Aaron Jones.
Listen, man, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. But I'm just saying, if you make these decisions, KOC, and he's the head coach, man, he knows what he's doing, then you've got to expect, if this is the case and Sam Darnold doesn't play for the rest of the preseason, which it looks like he's not going to play for the rest of the preseason, I think you got to give him a little bit of leeway. His first game, last year when we played Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we were fumbling the football and, people weren't ready to play. People were rusty out there, and KLC came into the presser after the game and said he was disappointed in that. Well, you don't give any of your guys reps during the preseason. And so I understand the whole injury thing. I understand why they do it. I just think, man, there are just creative ways around that. And there's nothing more valuable than game reps. Nothing. You can play with the joint practices and stuff all you want. But and again, you don't have to play these guys a substantial amount of minutes, but they got to be out there, get used to the environment, get used to live play. And people are talking about Sam Darnold's not consistent anyway. And the majority of the people across the national media doesn't think he's a good quarterback anyway. So with that being the case, I just don't understand how you can sit him on the shelf for that long and then expect for him to come and play well, because people are going to be expecting him to play well in that Giants game. I mean, you gotta give this dude live reps. But again, man, hey, I'm not an NFL football coach. I'm far from it. I just think that no matter what sport you play, live reps are just really, really important. And these coaches play a lot of games. If Pat Mahomes can get out there, I mean, everything is riding on Pat Mahomes in Kansas City. If he can get out there every game, then everybody else can get out there in every game, because he's the most valuable commodity in the NFL right now.
100%. 100% most valuable commodity. So I agree with you, Coach. I'm just playing the hindsight role. I agree with what you're saying. I'm just trying to go the other route with it, the hindsight, and
Did you see the behind?
What's that?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was about to say, hopefully, you can't rep the game rep, but hopefully of them bring in the intensity and become more physical, like everyone was talking about, is more physical. Hopefully toughness can get us through game first quarter, first half. That toughness can get us through till comfort comes in to play, right? Because the reps, right? Let's just say we get off 30 snaps in the first half. Well, that's 30 live snaps. The second 30 in the second half should be fantastic. So,
yeah, I know this isn't a Kansas City Chiefs broadcast, but did you see the behind the back pass Pat Mahomes threw? Do you like that kind of stuff, Pat?
But you know what he's doing? He is Steph Curry Steph Curry made everyone shoot the ball from half court now, right? Everybody in the pros started doing it, right? Because Steph was shooting it, then it trickled to college, to high school, whatever, little league and everything. Everybody wants to shoot like him. Now quarterbacks will be like, man, can I get creative like this dude? But he's been doing that since throwing no looks and just, I mean, the things that Mahomes done, he's a master with that football. He's special. But we ain't got to talk about him that much because, they the Kansas City Chiefs. We ain't got them this year. So
no,
we should have won last year against them, and I'm upset about that game. So,
well, here's one thing that I want you to get ready for. Obviously, you got your Patrick picks, coming up, the next couple weeks before week 1 of the NFL season. We have got, and a lot of you peers have emailed me. I don't know why people want this, but a lot of you peers have emailed me. Patrick has to predict what the record's going to be. So we gotta go through the season. Right. We don't got to do it right now, but now we know who our start.
Yep.
Now we know who our starting quarterback is going to be. It's going to be Sam Darnold.
After that, I know I can do it.
But listen. I'm going to stick up for you, Pat, because we should wait until the 53-man roster is set. So you know who you're rolling with on the defensive side of the ball and on the offensive side of the ball. Then we're going to have a show where we're going to go through each game on the schedule, and we're going to pick it, whether it's going to be a win and it's going to be a loss. Now, Pat, you got to take your heart out of it, man. This has got to be this has got to be,
I'm watching
analytical
other teams. I'm paying attention to everyone's rosters throughout the entire playoffs. Who's playing? What I do is I go in live and try to figure out what's going on in all 32 camps, right? All 32 camps, I want to know what's going on. So I'm paying attention to everybody and what's going on. So all of our opponents all know how's camp's been going, their additions, things like that. So I'll take my heart out of it and I'll be honest about it.
Yeah, because you bleed purple and gold, man. I bleed purple and gold. So I know it's going to be hard for me too. But we're going to do it, UP. You guys, you keep emailing me. Taylor, you keep emailing me. Sarah, you keep sending me Listen, we're going to get that done. We're going to go through, and we will see where we are at the end of the year of, when we pick what the record is going to be for the Minnesota Vikings. I actually am going to change my pick. I am actually going to change my pick from what I said before, but I'm not going to give it to you right now. I'm going to wait until we do that show so we can talk about it and analyze it.
Oh, yeah. I got a lot of factors into knowing who we got now, who's the starter. I'll talk about it then. There's a lot of things that are going to come into factor and play of the makeup of the Minnesota Vikings and the mindset of me of just looking at history and past of football of what I've seen and noticed. So,
yeah. Well, I love what I saw from the Minnesota Vikings this weekend with the Cleveland Browns. It was one of the most enjoyable preseason games that I have watched because I just like the young guys that are out there trying to make the team, and we got a lot of depth. I mean, you mentioned that word several times. We got a lot of depth. Kwesi has done a great job of building this roster, and I feel for those coaches. I feel for the Minnesota Viking coaches because after that last preseason game, man, they've got to make –
They got to cut some people, man. They got to cut
man, they're going to make some hard decisions. It's going to make some hard decisions.
But some guys
I heard –
some guys have done some good things to get tape, to get jobs. So there's things that people have got tape to get jobs. These guys aren't just going to be sitting out there. But you got to think about it. It's a 53-man roster, but then we get to keep another 9 for practice squad, right? Yeah. So essentially it's a 62-man roster, but you're still going from 90 to 62 is still 28 players. So
yeah, but the practice guy, the practice squad guys, they have to clear waivers, correct?
You can sign them right away to your practice, though.
Okay.
So
yeah, because I heard some analysts and I heard some other podcast people talking about guys like Bo Richter. It's not a done deal that they're going to make the 53. And looking at the depth chart and the numbers, I can see why they say that, man. It's just going to be some tough. It's going to be some tough decisions to make for the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm glad, I would love to have the paycheck of the coaches, but I'm glad I'm not in that room to have to make some of those decisions because that's going to be some hard decisions to make.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. You can talk about guys like, Patrick Jones II and, Rodriguez and Bo Richter. And you're talking about guys like that and you're talking about up front.
Yeah.
If you got guys like that on bubbles or not knowing how many if those 3 can't make it, then damn, we're pretty deep up front. You got to think about that.
Yeah.
Right? You got to think about how many, we're more of a 3-4, right? And you got to think of the 4 really good linebackers we have, right? And then you think about guys like Asamoah behind them and Richter playing a linebacker, right? And Dallas Turner being one and JG being one and Van Green. You got to think there's a lot of depth. So whatever happens, I believe the coaches are going to make the right decision for now and the future.
Yeah, I think the 2 most important things, I I can say someone asked me, why I would think that the Minnesota Vikings would be a playoff team, or how would the Minnesota, I can't remember how they phrased the question. But I said this, when you look at all the different units, I think really there are two question marks. There are two question marks. Well, really three question marks, but there are two glaring question marks. It's the secondary. With all the holes that they've had to fill, they've cleaned that up somewhat with the signing of Stephon Gilmore. That's going to help in that department. And the quarterback. I think Sam Darnold doesn't have to be Pat Mahomes, or C.J. Stroud. What Sam Darnold has to be
Baker Mayfield and okay.
That's all he's got to be, Pat. That's all he's got to be. He's just got to be Baker Mayfield. If he is Baker Mayfield, the Baker Mayfield of last year, if he can duplicate that, then the Minnesota Vikings have a chance.
Yeah. Yes, they do. I don't even want to touch that right now because that goes into the segment of my picking us for the season. So I don't even want to touch that and go deeper.
Okay. We'll save that.
But you're right, though. He doesn't have to be a top 5 quarterback.
No.
If you are a top 15, top 20 quarterback with a top 5 defense, top 10 defense, then you're good.
Yeah.
But that means maybe we have a top 15 running game too. Top 15 offense, right? So if the defense is going to be that good, that means we're going to get more opportunities on offense. So, yeah.
Yeah, we've addressed all areas during the offseason. Kwesi's done a hell of a job. So really good game against the Cleveland Browns. Our last preseason game, Patrick and I will be live analyzing the game, UP Nation. We're not sure if we're going to do it right after the game or the following day, but we're going to get that together. We'll put that on the community page, when we're going to do that, what time. So UP Nation, you can show up, interact with us live, ask us questions. We're going to talk about the last preseason game and then the upcoming game against the New York Giants, first game of the week. So UP Nation, we'll get that out to you. Make sure you attend that broadcast. It's going to be live, and we're looking forward to talking to you guys and interacting with you guys. Patrick, anything you want to say to UP Nation, man, before we wrap this up?
Nah, man, UP, hey, continue supporting us, right? Keep supporting us. We'll keep throwing out to you everything. It's always great to, be on here with Coach Jones and be able to give you guys a good show. Looking forward to being in live with you. Looking forward to another Q&A, right? Looking forward to another Q&A. See what y'all got.
Always looking forward to those.
Yeah, always looking forward to another Q&A and looking forward to the season. So until the end.
Yeah. UP Nation, what you don't realize is myself and Pat, we've been trying to work together for years, whether it's coaching. And so when I started this podcast, I thought to myself, man, I need somebody on here with me. So there was nobody that I thought of other than Pat, because, I enjoy our conversation about sports on the telephone. And I know that his personality will come across here on the UP, and looking at where we are in terms of views and subscribers and stuff like that, just getting a lot of feedback. You guys are allowing us, again, to live our dream. 15,000 subscribers, Pat. 15,000 subscribers. And we started this thing the beginning of May. Here it is, almost the end of August. So we appreciate the love and everybody reaching out and watching our content. A lot of good things coming up. Minnesota Vikings looking good in a lot of different areas, some tough decisions that they're going to have to make, but I'm confident in Kwesi and KOC and the boys. They're doing a fantastic job. So this has been Unconventional Playbook. On behalf of Patrick Buchanan and myself, Lionel Jones, we will make sure to see you when we see you. Latrey, take us home, man.